Today didn't go exactly as expected. As it turns out, this will not be the last daily update I do because Valve has decided to extend the monster game by 2 more sessions. This most recent one was not the last one. So if you still haven't gotten that 100 million badge, you've still got 2 more races to attempt to get it. I know everyone by now is probably sick of hearing about W. Chill and his drama, and thankfully this one doesn't necessarily concern W. Chill himself. Instead, there was a rumor spread by one of his administrators or one of his moderators that if you reach the 100 million mark 5 times, there was an exclusive badge that you could get. And basically what it was an attempt to discourage trolls from sabotaging any rooms. Unfortunately, most people found out it was just BS. And even W. Chill admitted that it wasn't true. Right here it says, so if you're questioning why we said there was a 5 times badge, think about why we would mention it. And another user asks, but is it true or not? To which W. Chill replies, of course not. So if you had been hearing anything about the 5 times 100 million rumor, there is nothing to it. It's simply made up to help prevent trolls from sabotaging any of the Reddit rooms. Now recently, well, just today, I decided to alter my strategy. I hadn't gotten to 100 million yet, and I thought this was my last day. I didn't get into the first Reddit rooms. I think I was stuck at about 6 or 7 because the rush was just so great you can't get in early enough. So then I came across Ye Old Wormhole scheme, and I decided it's worth a shot, right? Not that many members, but enough. 3,000. I think when I joined there were just a little over 2,000, so it's grown by about 33% in the last day. But I figured, what's the worst that could happen? Well, as it turns out, this group got me to 100 million in 6 hours and about 20 minutes. I've not even hit 50 million before that in any race. So what strategy are they using that puts them leagues above the Reddit groups? Nothing exactly. It's simply the fact that they don't have the mainstream attention that the Reddit groups have. In the Reddit groups, there are serious trolling problems, and there have been for the last couple of days, and I predict it's only going to get worse as more and more people get the 100 million badge and just want to sabotage and ruin the game for other people so they can't get their 100 million badge. Which is really quite selfish. I mean, if you think about it, it is a community effort, and everybody sort of put in to help these selfish pricks to get their badge, but they're not willing to pay it forward. So they're just going to attempt to drag the entire event down. So the reason the Ye Old Wormhole scheme did so well yesterday, or well, actually it's today, is because they don't have the same mainstream attention. And they also didn't launch their campaign until 2 hours after the servers had reset, which means that most of the randoms by that time were gone, and a lot of the trolls had already settled for Reddit rooms and were probably offline. So once I got into this room, we really took off, and despite some slowdown in the later parts of the game where more trolls were able to jump in, we managed to do it in 6.5 hours, give or take. So I already mentioned Ye Old Wormhole scheme, also abbreviated YOWH. So there was a discussion about which script was better, and people in the know have compared the two and pretty much decided that there really aren't that many differences besides the ones that I mentioned before, namely that Reddit has much more mainstream coverage, Reddit groups, and therefore it attracts more abuse by unsavory people. So this concerns the group I happen to be in, and they set a record. And with a 23-minute charge time, the YOWH group jumped from 65 million to 82 million. And this sort of plays into the point that I was making, that unless if you have trolls in your game that are nuking these bosses, you're not going to be able to do anything like this. The strategy it pivots on the idea that the bosses have a lot of health, and on 100 mark, every 100 boss, you can just sort of spam a whole bunch of wormholes down while not dealing any damage to the boss. So the longer you get to spam those wormholes, the faster you will progress after the boss is killed, because it stacks. All those wormholes stacks that everybody in the group played. So you're playing thousands upon thousands of wormholes, and on the 100 level, it skips 10 levels for every wormhole played. So you can see how it can really start to add up with enough people and enough time. So this set a record, sort of, and there's a picture of it. At time 442, and you can see 442 just right after it jumped. It went from 65 million to 82 million, give or take some numbers in between there. And that's the reason why the ye olde wormhole strategy did so well, is because of the lack of trolls in the game. Finally, I thought I would just cover some of the charts here. Now this is ye olde wormhole, room number 1. And as you can see, we didn't start until right about there. Everyone else started way down here, so 2 hours earlier. And we took a big jump. And right here is that leap I was talking about, where it jumped around 20 million. Just over 23 minutes, because no one killed the boss. And it sort of leveled out. And we ended, right here is where it ended, after roughly 6.5 hours. I'm just going to play it safe and call it 6.5 hours. Some people have claimed it was only 6 hours because there was some downtime. As you can see, the reason these bars crashed all the way to the bottom there is because the Valve servers went down about halfway through not even halfway through, about 6 hours in, 4 hours in, somewhere around there. The Valve servers went down, and some people got unlucky and they left their rooms, couldn't get back in. I stayed in my room, so I really didn't lose out on anything there. And as you can see, once the servers are back up, ye olde wormhole strategy jumped right back to the top again. Of course, once we reached 100 million right here, you can see the activity plummeted drastically, because most of us jumped into other ye olde wormhole rooms. There are 2 more, 3 and 4. Number 2 is doing just fine on its own, but 3 and 4 needed some help, and as of this recording, number 3 has already made it to the 100 million mark. Oops. I was going to show you, but apparently I closed that window. Yeah, so basically, I made it to 100 million twice in one day, thanks to this group. Now, I know that their success is going to draw more people to it, both good and bad, and I think mostly it will be bad people, because it doesn't take many trolls to negatively affect the outcome of these races. It just takes a handful, basically, and once they start nuking bosses or playing those critical hits that drop the boss health down to 1, it just desyncs the entire thing, and you just slow to a crawl. So yeah, this is for those who like data graphs. This is a very cool page right here. I'll provide a link in the description below, of course. So what do I think? What are the prospects for the next 2 days? There are 2 rounds left. I call them rounds, 2 races left. In other words, 2 opportunities basically to get to your 100 million. I think things are going to get harder. Like I mentioned before, there are more people with the 100 million badge, and that means there are going to be more people who just want to discourage others from getting it, and they're going to attempt to do that by sort of sabotaging any of these events. You can still try the Reddit group, or you can try the Ye Olde Wormhole group. Personally, I would jump in the Reddit group and then just keep the Ye Olde Wormhole group open until they announce their room, and then probably jump to that. But I can see how you say that's sort of callous as well, because you are throwing your Reddit group under the bus in favor of another group. So it depends upon, I don't know. It depends upon how badly you want to get it, I guess, and what you're willing to do. If you're willing to throw a few people under, because most likely they're not going to get to 100 anyway. I mean 100 million. As you can see right here in this list, this bar graph, the people who made it, 1 and 2, Ye Olde Wormhole. So two of the 4 rooms in here were done by the group I was in. The third one should be in here now, but I haven't refreshed this page. But as you can see, this group is attracting a lot of attention because of their victories, and if you didn't get your badge yet, you could be in trouble. But there is always hope, so don't give up. And if you are active enough, maybe we can even arrange another room or whatnot that doesn't have that mainstream attention, that draws in the negativity. So that pretty much covers the day 9 update. Thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.